Hi, I'm Kris Freeman. I'm an integrated complementary therapist here in Brisbane, Australia, and I largely specialise in musculoskeletal issues. I purchased Spooky2 in October 2023, and it's taken me a while to do my testimonial, largely because I wanted to make sure that it was real and that my results were sustainable, and I'm really happy to say that it is. So I wanted to share some of my successes. One of them is, cancer. Everyone wants to know how to help that. And I had someone who had aggressive bladder cancer, and his doctors told him it would be like a weed in the garden. They would cut it out and then it would grow back. They would cut it out and then it would grow back, and they'd keep cutting until there was no longer any left and he would be left on a bag. So he wanted to trust in what the doctors were telling him. We wanted to know that what they were saying were true. And so he had his first surgery. And then 3 months later, it grew back just like they said it would. And so he had his second surgery. And that's when he contacted me and asked me to run my rife frequencies for him. 3 months later, he had his third exploratory and he was cancer-free. Like, how amazing is that? And then also just this month, he's had his fourth exploratory. That's February 2025, and he's still cancer-free. That's incredible. I've also treated a client with bronchiectasis. That's a lung disease. Now, she was getting ill with a serious infection every 8 to 10 weeks, and then she'd be on antibiotics for 2 to 3 weeks, and then 7 or so weeks later she was seriously ill again, and the cycle would continue. Now, I've been running the bronchiectasis frequencies. Next week it will be 8 months, and she's been completely symptom free. Now, she is so grateful, like completely over the moon, that this has made her well, and it's just been such a long time since she's felt well. I also treated someone who had been overseas and got a parasite, and they were vomiting on the plane back, and then had antibiotics to stop the vomiting, which worked, of course, but she still felt bloated. She felt nauseous every time she ate. She felt ill, and she then just lost her appetite completely, like just did not feel hungry at all. She lost 8 kilos really quickly, and it was very concerning. Her doctors had done, Phanatron 1, all their normal things, couldn't find out what was wrong with her. And of course, like most things, doctors would say it's anxiety, and that there's nothing wrong. It was affecting her sleep as well, so I ran parasite frequencies with insomnia and hypersomnia frequencies, and within 2 months she was all better, and she's now putting the weight back on. So that was another great one. I was treating someone with a brain cyst, and their neurologist was concerned that the cyst had a white halo around it, and that can represent the beginning signs of cancer. So we ran cyst programs, and amongst other things, and he just had his 6 monthly review, and that halo is disintegrating. It's nowhere near as prominent. The before and after photos you can clearly see, so I'm putting that down to a Spooky2 when I didn't grow in size either, so that's also excellent. I treated someone with high blood pressure. They were in hypertensive crisis, so I ran over a 3-week period. I was running the high blood pressure frequencies, and it was definitely declining, but still not good. So then I ran the Converge suite, and instantly it just went down to optimal 110 over 70. So she actually has bought her own Spooky2 now, so that she can manage her own well-being, which is awesome, right? I also have treated a stress UTI. Now, normally I would tell clients to drink 3 litres of water in a 24-hour period to flush that out, but Spooky2 was able to heal that UTI symptoms, or those UTI symptoms, in 3 hours. I've treated myself for a plantar wart I have on my left foot. Had no symptoms until recently, a few months ago this was. It was so painful, I was limping around, and so I ran upstairs and I ran some plantar wart frequencies. Now, this story is a perfect example of how you must choose the right frequency for you. So I ran these frequencies, and 2 days later, nothing changed. I was still limping, I was still in a lot of pain. So I did a deep dive into conversations, and I found people talking about verruca frequency. I'd never heard of that word before, but it is apparently another name for a wart, a verruca wart. So I ran the verruca frequency, and 8 hours later, my foot pain was all gone, and I haven't had a problem since. I've also treated my dog with imprinting of holographic stickers, and I imprinted frequencies for warts for her as well. She had a wart on her head for 2 years, and so the wart frequency in the notes section said I needed to run some other frequencies, which I did, and it took 6 weeks, and that wart was gone. I also had taken her to the vet because she was not drinking water. For over a year she hadn't, and I'd had to pour a little bit of milk into her water to trick her into drinking, but I couldn't obviously do that all day long, and she wasn't getting enough. So I had some blood tests done, and of course it showed that she was dehydrated. It also said she had some liver dysfunction and was showing cancer marker signs. So obviously I was very concerned. She's 12 years old and I love her to bits, so I ran liver function on her, and you wouldn't believe it, but the next day she was slurping up water, and that made me so incredibly happy. The sound of her just drinking, it was amazing. So anyway, sometime later I took her back to get some follow-up bloods done, and no longer dehydrated, no longer having a liver problem, and no cancer markers were there either. So yeah, incredible stuff. If you are sitting on the fence wondering whether you should buy Spooky2, if you've got issues, friends, loved ones, people you know who need help, it works. Like, I can't recommend it highly enough. And for those who are wondering, I own 8 XMs, 2 GenX Pros, and the central unit with the Phanatron Plasma Ball and the tube. And most of my work, all these successes that I'm talking about, majority of them have been done on the XM generator. So that's only 166 USD. Go out there and commit to buying it, because you won't regret it. I truly don't believe you will. And there are plenty of people that are willing to help you, just as people helped me learn how to use it and how to use it quickly. So go to it. Buy your Spooky2.